Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. Today I'm joined by the Lazy Forger, Jacques and Frederic.
Federico, yeah.
Fail.
Fail,
short.
For everyone.
We are going to be looking at the two new factions for full spectrum dominance, the Reclaimed and the Corsairs, and give you an idea of kind of some of the abilities and techniques that you can play through with them.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you want to tell me who you're going to be using then, Jack?
Yeah, I'm going to play with the Corsairs. The Corsairs, they play in a very skirmishy way. They, lore-wise, they are few elite soldiers, each piloting a whole new rig, huge rig. And each rig is equipped with extra weapons that are carried as a separate card. And they're very powerful, they're very effective, but they're very expensive. They cost a lot in points, but they cost more importantly in activation dice. So you won't be using many of them. Each of them is going to be a bit of a fire base. It's going to be a bit of a very hungry dice, activation dice unit. Right now, here we have a situation. The idea is like we're gonna just show a bit of a crop of a couple of rounds, not the whole game, just a round, basically a bit of a show of
show and tell of how they activate and operate.
That's how I meant to say, yes.
Yeah.
And it's going to be mostly one purpose, which is one of the medium mechs of the faction that it's going to face against the Corsairs. On the other side, we have the Reclaimed. The Reclaimed, which are a faction of concrete and rebar construct made by humans, but with their own weaker intelligence. Basically, they reclaim. That's why they're Reclaimed. They basically scavenge, destroy tech cores, and they build robots out of them. They're not as good as tech in terms of intelligence, but they have pretty big, massive bodies, a lot of weapons. The downside, however, is that in order to properly operate, they need to be surrounded by so-called wardens. Wardens can be humans, wardens can be smaller robots, but in any case, you need, for many of the cooler actions of the big guys, you need a few units, a few bases of wardens around just to support it. And right now we see that there are like 5 different wardens in the area. In the combat, there's going to be some warden casualties because it makes sense to destroy them, but you also want to focus on the one that actually deal damage. It's going to be a mix of the two.
Okay. So essentially the Reclaimed then have an additional resource that they have to manage.
Yes.
And hopefully we'll show you how that comes into play. So we'll be right back to set up the first scene. Okay, we're ready to go. And for this example, who's going first?
I have the initiative, and what I am to do now, it will be to advance defending. I will use the raise shield ability of the Cyclopeter, that is this one, that allows him to raise his shield, as the name say, move just 1 DU, so move slowly toward the enemy, and whatever damage on the damage profile that would have been a damage on the armor became pinned. So it can be pinned anytime you want, because it is one of the power of the Reclaimed faction, that if they are pinned, they can still do stuff. Okay. Of course, not as good as they would
They
do
cannot
normally.
react, they cannot command, but at the end of the day, they can keep going on.
They can keep going on, exactly. So the idea is to slowly going into their face, and we will see the next turn what I will do. So I will use this one to raise the shield, and then move.
Mark it on the
token. Exactly. Put the token for the raise shield. That's very important, and then move 1 DU towards.
So basically, there's going to be more than just one unit with shield, and each unit with shield, when the shield is raised, they're going to be limited in what they can do, but they're going to be much harder to take down. And we're going to see how, because.
And then, most importantly,
but before that, that's a second comment. Actually, what you can do before that is to use the Warden Guide ability of the Cyclops, because Cyclops and trolls, both of them have the ability
exactly.
to move stuff around them. And they, the only way actually you can move your wardens, because they're not units, you cannot activate them, you cannot react with them, is to carry them with you while you moving one of the big guys. So in this case,
mother hen and chicks.
Basically.
Yeah.
But the chicks are the thing that keeps the hen alive. So it's a bit of controversial family in that case. Yes.
Symbiotic synergy.
What they do is to advance of basically following the Cyclops.
And you can take 2 of them only because that's the value of the Cyclops power.
The 2, so that he have enough for doing the future moves.
At this point, he has 3. The Cyclops has 3 different wardens within. This one is slightly outside. So before you can do anything else, you will have to use maybe some other support, which is perfect. That's part of how it works. However, while this is happening, like the first action was raising the shield, the second was moving. Moving is only 1du at this point. Could have done it the other way around, but for the story, it's better this way. And this unit could react. Since it has a recon pilot, so the characters for the reclaimed are not existing because they're using
budget AI.
It's basically like second-hand AI. On the other hand, this one have pilots, and this pilot in particular makes use of drones. So if there is a drone that is unpinned and available within range, it can get the reactive ability, which means that basically gets to act with 2 different abilities. So it had already some abilities prepared. I didn't put the dice, but here it is. And all it does is to shoot. However, since the shooting is done on a separate system, and the separate system had the dice on it, and the way the Corsairs work is that they have weapons that are behaving a bit like behemoths do, so they will do their own amount of actions. The 2 actions of the reaction, in this case, it's basically an action because of the reactive ability, is going to be, the first one is going to be to ready the system, so prepare the weapon to shoot. It is lost when the weapon is actually activated, either to shoot or to load or whatever, but it's 2 actions, so in this case, both. And it's going to shoot the heavy minigun. So I'm going to start by actually using the weapon. So basically, I'm going to activate the... Actually, no, I first have to use the minigun because I am activating this one first, the weapon comes out after. So the heavy minigun is just a 3d8, very simple. And, well, it's in front of me. I'm going to try and shoot that. Let's see what happens.
He raised that shield for a reason.
Exactly. And let's see if the shield will do its job. It's a 4, an 8, and an 8. It's a lot of damage. It's not armor piercing. So
I will
get to roll
4 d8 for each one of your 8.
You have to count.
And the 4 as well, because I'm in the open. So
let's start with the 4.
With the 4, that is.
And you barely made it.
Well, I would just say easily paired, but barely paired. The first 8.
It gets in.
That it gets in, and the second 8
it gets in.
That gets in. Damage. So it's a double damage. Let's hope that the raised shield worked this magic.
Let's see the first damage.
So the first damage is 2. 2. That means that it goes on the first system.
The first gun is done. The gun, which is actually the sword.
So that's very bad because a 1, a 2, and a 3 would kill me. So let's hope for a 4, 5, or a 6 that will pin me. And luckily, it's a 4.
And instead of doing the damage to the armor, you don't even need to mark it because it's just a pin. So we use one of the tokens. There's only one kind of token in full spectrum dominance because the situations, the ambiguity is very limited. In this case, a token here means it has been pinned. And it doesn't matter because
it can still go on.
That was the big gun. Now I have the actually bigger gun, but it's meant for crowd control. So I'm not going to target the thing because it makes no sense. And I'm going to do 2 attacks, each with 2 laser beams towards the wardens behind. So the first one is going to be 2d6, and it's going to be a 4 and a 1. The laser beam has a pretty nice ability. It hits at every shot except 1. So the 1 is
2 up is great.
It's a 2+ to hit. The cool thing is that if you're shooting at the infantry, wardens are not infantry, wardens are not units. But if you shoot at the infantry is going to be pinned. So it's very convenient for that. For everything else is like a kind of weak gun.
Yeah.
So there is a 4, and the warden has a save of d8 2.
Yeah.
It's
So
pretty easy to save.
well, let's roll it before saying that. So 4
And instead it's a hit.
and 4. So it's
Oh, no, it's just 1 4.
it was just one
Yeah,
4. Okay,
so
well,
it's done.
still it's one
get
warden went down.
And
so
I'm going to
that's
do the
not
same
good.
on another warden, which is like this one.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a 3 and a 4. So,
So
yet on a
once
4.
again a 4,
Because it's a 4 plus 2 hit, so the 3 is ignored anyways.
and it's
And I killed
another
another
one.
one.
So
That was a very lucky roll on my side.
yeah, or a very unlucky one on my side.
But yeah, this was the reaction. So all I'm doing right now is to, well, on my side, let's say that the rest of the things already activated. It's just there for show. So it will be your turn to activate again. Same round, new turn.
Same run, new turn. I'd say that for doing what I want to do, that is a good charge against that fella there. I will use the logistics shift. That is a super card of the warden that make me move all the wardens, of a super card of the reclaim that make me move all the wardens I have left up to 3DU. So what I will do will be that this one that was slightly, no, not slightly, but far from his Cyclop will move closer. Same for this one.
The third one is pretty much there.
But I have this one.
Oh, there is a new one. I haven't seen that
back
one.
there that for good measure will came close as well, because you can never know after those rolls from before.
The best thing of these new buildings is that they're so big, they literally had units.
Yeah.
Not in game, outside of the game. I sometimes just don't see something.
And given that this card is single use, it will be discarded for now. So
at that point, it will be my action again. And what I can do is try to shoot something, because why not? I have an Albatross drone. I can use 1 die. The drone is not doing much, but I can move it a bit because it's there. Let's say that there is no reaction, because basically there is no unit
I
there.
have no
dice, yeah, but also I was thinking some other further away, and it's going to shoot a 2d6 with AP 1 to the warden there, just because it's good to get rid of some. And it's a 6 and a 4.
6 and a 4.
You parry. It's an AP 1, so you get to roll only 1 d8.
Yeah. So the 4 that is done, and
that's it. Like just for curiosity.
And the 6 would have been parried.
So a lot of warden have been killed, but there are still 3. That is the right
luckily
number.
I moved the one that was hidden behind the building, so that was
exactly that was like a saving.
Because now I can use this one
for the next round.
For the next round, where we can charge.
Okay, so we'll see how that pans out with our next little scenario then. Okay, we're back. We're ready to see how things pan out for the reclaimed. Will they be just picking up more AI cores off the floor in a minute?
All right.
Hopefully not. So where are we beginning then?
Yeah, we are in a new round.
Stuff happened elsewhere. It doesn't matter for this scene. We're just using a very cropped out part of the game. And
luckily, I still have the initiative.
Oh, yes. So, that was a good draw.
And the first thing I will use will be another support card, because the Reclaim has very good support card to try to repair, the tungsten blade of my Cyclopeter, the one that advanced shield raised against the enemy. It needs 2 wardens close by.
And you do have 3. So
I have 3, so I will use this single-use card
as a first action.
As a first action to.
And that removes the damages on the bottom.
Yeah.
Both of them actually, because the other one was just a pin. So
yeah, the other was just a pin. So
you still have the shield up.
Shield is still up.
The blade was literally real-time repaired while you were protecting. So it's like repair the blade, like that.
Tiny
people in the back welding.
Or PVA glue. But yeah, something like that.
I was thinking about duct tape, but yeah.
Yeah, or everyone had their own repairing method, but yes. So at that point, you did your thing. I cannot do anything because there is no reaction to a support card. So all I do here is to, I'm going to shoot again. This time, I don't have the dice, unfortunately, to use the lantern laser. So all I can do is just use 1 die and shoot with a free heavy minigun.
You say that like it's a very light thing. Free heavy miniguns.
Yeah, I mean, I got really lucky last time. Let's see what happens this time. So it's 3d8. You have a couple. There's one here. And let's say this time I actually do a 5 and a 4. It's kind of easier to parry. You have to roll 4d8 to counter it.
So let's
Each of
counter
them,
the
because
4.
let's remember it's not AP. So
Let's counter the 4.
done.
I counter with an 8, and let's counter the 5 that I counter with a 7.
That's really
this
good.
This time was the luckier.
As a second option, let's say that there was some reason why I didn't move away. Like it's not like a big blade in front of me is scary or anything. So
final turn, there's an objective you're protecting.
Yeah, something like
You
that.
can't afford to.
You have
many reasons could be there. Again, it's very few units, so maybe the same unit has to defend the objective and to not get killed. That's two things to do at once.
And so it's my turn, and finally I can charge in your face by using this one that I rolled, and by having 3 wardens, 1, 2, 3, close within 1 U that I have. So
rather than just attacking me, you do the charge, which is less powerful, but it allows you to move and attack at the same time.
And I will have the second action.
And then you can attack again, which is
so
pretty good.
I will move conveniently to you in your face.
Note that you're pinned and you don't care.
I still am pinned, but I still don't care about that.
Because you don't need to command anyone.
And
you can actually bring with you a couple of wardens, which is not too bad.
But first I want to bring a couple of D10 because I will use them. So a couple of wardens just follow the Cyclops. And
it's a charge.
And it's a charge.
So this charge, by the way, I'm going to react after. But let's see what happens before.
Let me roll these 2 D10.
Let me have something in life.
It's a 7 and a 6.
Right. So the Porpoise and in general the Corsairs are not extremely powerful in defense. They have the same defense of a normal tank. It's like D3, but they get to roll twice the damage profile and choose the best one.
Well,
so
first you have to defend, then
first I have to defend
the profile.
So how
AP2?
AP2 means I have just to roll 1 D10. So I'm going to counter the 6. And I make it. I'm going to counter the 7, and I don't make it. It's definitely a 1. So instead of rolling 1 die, unless I do with both of them the same result, I get to choose which one to keep, and it's going to be not dead, probably. Let's see. So it's a 6 and another 6.
And a 6.
So,
well, you can choose between a 6 and a 6.
I cannot use my kinetic guns anymore. I haven't used them yet, but I will never be able to use them again. So
okay,
that's how it goes. But at this point, your movement, actually, before your second action, triggered the shooting of the Walrus. The Walrus has some very simple double gun, which is pretty nice. Actually, sorry, the Narwhal, that's much better. The Narwhal had the Falconet ready, and it's just going to shoot with an AP2 2d8, 1, 2, 3du. It's going to be very powerful, but let's remember that the imps have a pretty useful...
Yep, they can literally jump in front of the bullet.
So let's see what happens. I'm going to throw 2d8. It's AP, that's a D10. That would be a bit too much. It's a D8, so I'm going to throw it, and it's going to be a 6 and a 5.
Is AP something?
It is AP2, so AP2. You get to roll only 2d8 for each.
Okay.
You can decide, this is a hit, it's before the save. You can decide to throw some of them in front of it, and maybe you want to do it because...
Well, I will need...
You can try to save, to basically cover one of those two by jumping.
Has the Cyclops had to drop a shield by now?
They did, actually, because the charge was something that was not the movement of one.
So instead of taking an armor save now, he doesn't get the shield, but got the option to throw some of the smaller...
Actually, they could have jumped even before, but it made little sense. No, I'm going to save the shield.
Definitely need him to stay alive, so let's try.
Okay, so you keep the things?
I keep the things because I wanted to use for another action later.
Oh, I see that.
So I will just try to parry the hit.
That makes sense.
You roll a 5 and a 6, right?
Yes. Yep.
So let's roll the 5 that goes in.
The 6.
And the 6 is safe.
So just 1 damage?
Just 1 damage.
You just don't do 1?
It's a 4. So, well, now the
armor is properly damaged, yes.
The shield would have helped.
So when the damage is on the armor, you just start rolling lower quality dice. That's it. So it's not a big deal at this point.
But I can still hit you with my repaired.
Speaking of big deal.
Yeah, speaking of big deal is 3d10 that Well,
There's two fives
a
again.
couple of five
The 3
that goes
is
in.
not getting in at all. I get to save with just a D6.
Yeah, so first
the
5.
first one is going to be a 7, which is saved. The
the
second one still bearing a 5. It's a 1. I am really good with the second rolls. So again,
let's
to the
try
6.
if
Let's
you can
see what
roll
happens.
the same number again, just to show the mechanic.
So if I do 1, 2, or 6, I'm dead.
Yeah.
But I can choose which one to do. So it's going to be a 4 and a 5. I can actually choose either of those. I'm going to do with the 5. So yet another damage.
Another system down.
Yeah.
This one was pinned before. It's even more pinned now. Well, it's
Just
the same level of pin. Yes.
Spreading the damage across the
Yep.
mechs.
And the good thing of having
system
multiple weapons is just if you don't have a lot of dice and some of the weapons are done, you can use the others.
That's fine.
It's not too bad. So that closed your attack here.
Yeah.
At this point, I am going to I'm going to shoot with my thing again, because why not? Actually, I am going to, I'm going to shoot with that thing. Why not? It's a free action, so I just need a die. I can remove the die, and I can do my 2d6, which is going to be a 6 and a 4, and it's on that one.
On that one, so it's is AP?
It's not AP1.
AP1, so just 1d8 on that imp, and it's a 4, and you said...
It was the 4, it's fine.
Okay,
and then you have to save the 6.
And the 6, and the 6 goes in, so
they're kind
goes
of
well my idea of using the beam later.
Really?
Well, I don't have any more imps for...
Ouch! Well,
I just have him, but he can...
Let's see what happens there, yes.
Can do stuff. Okay.
It's on you?
So, it's on me. I wanted to use this, another very cool support card of the Reclaimed that is called One-Eyed Beam. That means then up to 3 Cyclops, whatever is their position, can shoot a laser beam on any target that is in line of sight. So up to 5 DU, so covering a lot of the table, and most importantly, even if they already activated. So I wanted to use with those other Cyclops as well, but I still have him left. That
it's there.
Even if he already activated and did quite a lot of damage, he can still use the beam.
Plus,
unfortunately, not on the enemy on the purpose right in front of him, because it's 1 to 5 DU. But he can use on this very nasty and annoying albatross.
I can totally see the robot like fighting this way and then rotating the head at the same time and just
beaming the albatross. Let's see if he can manage to hit it, because it's 1d8 and it's an 8.
So the albatross has a d10 of save, and
it's free. So
what happens is that I roll on the die. This one doesn't have the pretty useful roll 2 dice to choose the highest one, and it dies on a 1 to 4. So
it's gone.
It's gone.
Well, at least I managed to kill a small drone.
And I think this sums up pretty well what you can do on both sides of this new group, on this third wave of units, and how cool the buildings are to hide stuff. So the opponent, unless it's a very tall opponent, will not be able to see what you have.
Trying to be tricksy,
yes.
using 3D terrain to hide.
Yes.
It's an interesting demonstration of the Reclaimed in particular, where you can't just assume that the imps are chaff that can be thrown away willy-nilly, because they are so required for other support cards and other
So sometimes you want to keep them behind just in case. Also, there is the thing that many, like both the big and the medium mechs, have an option to be equipped with no weapons and serve as wardens. So at that point, you can have a couple of big guys that are cheaper than normal ones, and that gives you always the certainty that you can at least try to do the laser beam or something.
Exactly.
I haven't finished the final touches of the sculpting, so I didn't paint them, so they're not here right now.
Okay. Well,
they will be soon.
People will get a chance to see those when the campaign is live anyway.
Absolutely.
But hopefully that gives you an idea of how the Corsairs and the Reclaimed are going to be playing things out for full spectrum dominance. Let us know what you think below, folks. And if you've any questions or comments about playstyles and how they match up as well, we'd love to hear that as well.
And we'll be there replying to every message.
That's what I love to hear. Until next time, bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed this Let's Play. Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.